Hi, happy Stampin' with Janice friends. It took me a minute. I'm sorry if I'm late on getting into the live mode. I have the wonderful opportunity to participate in a creative retreat, and I'm pretty excited about it, but that's why I'm a little late on getting this going. I'm going to learn how to do 12 different demonstrations by the top representatives or demonstrators in the Stampin' Up! World, and I'm just so excited about it. Okay, so let's get back to business here. The stamp set that I'm going to work with is out of the Occasions catalog. It is the Forever Blossom set, and I'm going to be working with, am I not live, Blake? Am I live? No? What happened? All right, well, stop my live if I don't want to record this. Why is it so dark? All right, stop my live. I don't want to record this. Am I live? God dang it. Okay, I'm going to just keep on going. Blake is sitting here laughing at me. I'm working with the Cherry Blossoms dies and the Forever Blossom stamp set. So I guess I should say thank you for helping me. Okay, he came in and fixed my audio. I'm so sorry about the beginning of it, but that's how it was. All right, so what I'm going to show you is how easy it is to create the same look, but by simply changing the colors, you've created new cards. Will also show you the die cutting process and how I've added different phrases to the bottom, different greeting to the bottom of each card so that you get a whole new look. All right, so I always try to feel like I want to rush because I don't want to have you sitting idle, not knowing what's going on, what am I doing, blah blah blah. So I went through all the steps to get it all set up in advance. All right, so using the Stamparatus, we simply put your stamp set on the plate. If you're a new stamper, I highly recommend you invest in Stamparatus. Actually, I have several of them, so I might even consider selling one or using one as a prize. But anyways, if you don't have the blocks, you can start with this. Simply putting your stamp, here, let me pull this off and show you what I'm trying to say. All right, so say this is the front of your card. I want my image right there. But actually, what I'm going to do is put my image right here. And I want to use up all the space that is available to me. So I'm going to put that right there. All right, put this right here, put this right here. I wanted to stamp, let me see if I put it in my box. I hate when I feel unorganized. Here it is, right here. I'm going to use this flower. Put it right here. Now, this flower has been giving me a problem. It's the first time I've ever experienced this problem with it, but if it doesn't work on this, I'll explain later. All right, so anyways, you put your stamped image where you want it to be on your cardstock. You take one of the sheets, the card plastic, oh, it's got a name. Why can't I remember it? This is just like me, not to remember the name. But anyways, the plastic fold. You fold the first page over and you push down on it, picking up the stamps so that you know they're placed exactly where you want. Then you take your ink that you want to use, and in this case, I'm going to do watercoloring again because that's my newfound passion. So I'm going to do watercoloring, and then you just simply go back with your ink pad and you ink up the rubber stamp. What is really, really incredible about the Stamparatus, not only do you not have to have all the blocks, all right, by pushing your cardstock up, I don't need the magnets this time because I'm going up into the corners. You simply ink up your stamp and close the page and open it back up and look. And you know what's really cool about that? Because I've already done this, I can do this. Say I grabbed a second sheet of paper. I want to do the same image again. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come back and I'm going to ink my stamps and stamp it again. You don't have to keep guessing, realigning, replacing. It's a great way to do bulk stamping. There are so many more techniques that I can show you with the Stamparatus, one at a time. I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to also say, if you're working with the StazOn, strongly recommend that you get the StazOn cleaner. You see how black this image is? Because of course I use the black ink. The StazOn cleaner, what I do is I take it and I wipe it off on a rag, and then take the rag, same one, and wipe off the stamps. Now, if I was changing colors, this would be a must. But my purpose of demonstrating this to you is to show how this permanent ink is no longer permanent on my rubber stamps. If you're going to work with the permanent ink, I highly recommend the StazOn. Gone. I might work on this one a little bit more. It's got the felt tip on the end. Come back. The more you work on it, the cleaner you get it off. Love it. It is clear, so now I could go back and do any other color I want. Now that is only StazOn, and it is not highly recommended at all for the clear stamps that we have. But if you need to use it to clear your ink off, I recommend you use it. If you're new to stamping, we have several different types of stamps. The photopolymer rubber is the one that I was referring to as not highly recommended for the StazOn cleaner. But if you have StazOn, which is the permanent ink, highly recommend it. All right, so I stamped that. What I'm going to do, and I made this easier by getting it all ready. When I did my first 3 cards, I went ahead and cut and got all the supplies ready for my 4th card. So all I have to do is show you these are the finished projects. Let me show you how I made them. All right, so I took a piece of painter's tape, which is removable. And of course I touched it with my fingers a little bit just to soften it up. And I pre-placed all the dies on my stamped image, and I taped them down with the painter's tape. You don't have to do it that way. You don't have to tape them down. If you have the magnetic plate, it will grab them and it will hold them in place. But sometimes you get a little bubble in the magnetic plate in the plastic sheeting, and the magnet dies will bounce. If you taped it, it will not bounce, okay? So I just went ahead and did that with all the pieces that I wanted to use. So now, you make a sandwich. You put the magnetic plate down, you put the plastic, you put your stamped images. Always make sure your cutting blade is pointing down. Cover it up with another plate and run it through the die cut machine. Now, I am using a Big Shot. We will not be selling, we no longer sell the Big Shot. We are introducing 2 new die cutting machines, which I'm very, very excited about. One of them will stay on my craft table at all times because it will be so convenient. If you want to see about it, hear about it, know about it, let me send you a new catalog because it will definitely excite you. All right, so I'm going to put this out of my way because I want to work on my craft table. Move that over there. Now, they're still sitting on the plate. They're stuck on the plate, actually, because of the magnetic grip on there. All right, so then all I'm going to do now is pop my images out. Sometimes you might find that you have a little hard time getting the die cut to cut all the way through. I strongly recommend that you roll it through once, again, again, and again. That almost ensures 100% that all of your pieces will come out. Now, this would normally not be difficult to pop out, but because of the tape, it's holding it in place. I also want to say to you, my fellow stampers, I keep my tape on here in my box because these are little teeny stamps. I will probably need that tape again next time I use these little teeny stamps. Now, I probably don't need it on the big one as much, and so I'll stick it on my roll because the big one doesn't bounce as often. But as you can see, all my pieces are popping right out. Pull that tape. There's the gardenia flower. I'm going to put this tape back over the outline of the gardenia flower so I can mount it right there. All right. So the die cut set that we're working with this time is so unique because Stampin' Up! Took it one step further. Remember how I told you when I get my die cut sets in, I go ahead and I copy the sheet as it comes to me? Well, that's what I did so that I can keep track of all the pieces. But when I say they took it one step further, they made doubles of each of several of the stamps so that you can cut more than one out at one time. I am thrilled about that. Not every set is like that, but this set is, and I couldn't be happier. All right, so they typically pop right out, but me and my amazing tweezers, which if you've been watching me, you know I cannot live without my amazing tweezers. Scrap paper. Could have kept it. Why bother? All right, so I'm going to get rid of the scrap paper. I got the leaves. Now look, this one's the same thing. It cut out 2 at one time. They're right there. I'm going to keep the tape on here, put that back in the box so I don't lose it. Cut out my petal. All right, so don't put them all together so I don't have to wonder what I did with them later. All right, so that was the depth of the doing the die cutting machine. If you followed me, you know I love my silicone mat. All right, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to do the silicone mat first. This card is going to be done with the mint macaron. I chose the background paper first, and then I went and got my ink because I wanted to make sure I had the ink that coordinated with it. And so I'm going to go ahead and do my watercoloring technique while I have everything here in front of me dry and ready. All right, so these are done. This is done. Bring him over here. So these are the only 3 things that I'm going to watercolor. Mint macaron, open it up. Remember what I said, squeeze the lid, get the ink to the lid, take your watercolor pen. These are also changing in the new catalog. What we have coming out is amazing. It will work as great, if not better. You will have more options of what to do with it, but it works the same way this does. I'm kind of restricted on how much information I give about what's coming out in the new catalog, so I have to watch what I say. You know, I just realized I must have lost the yellow piece of cardstock because I had cut flowers out for these and I don't know what happened to them. All right, so because I want the flowers to look realistic, you do the bold in the middle and then watercolor it out to the edges. All right, I got all my flowers. What do? I wipe it off. I'm going to get a little bit more water in there so I know I'm getting it clean. Close up my ink pad. Go on to the next one. I'm going to color in the leaves this time. I have this here again. It's actually very wet this time. Color this in. If you go towards the seam first, pull the colors out. If you get it too wet, don't hesitate to have a napkin near you to go back and blot some of that water out. I am not working with watercolor paper. I am just working with our standard Whisper White, which to me is the best. I want more color on the veins. I'm going to do a little bit more of these branches. All right, done. All right, I'm going to do these little leaves. I didn't think I loved coloring as much as I do until I've discovered watercoloring with the aqua pens. All right, all the hard work is done. I'm going to go back. I have one more technique to do, but I'm going to wait. This seemed to have gotten dirtied. I don't really know how, but what happens in the stamping world? There's 2 sides to every piece of paper. So I'm going to flip it over. I pre-cut these. These, if you remember from the Ornate set, Ornate Garden set, it was one of the borders punches. All right, I'm going to lift that All right. Now, take a pick tool. One of the best tools ever created. On one end is the knife. I shouldn't say that. One end is the pointer. Use it to lift it. Now, I cut this tape a little too big, so all I'm going to do is roll it up and stick it down. Look at that. I stuck the tape on the wrong side. Okay, well, you know what? Every video I make a mistake. Every video I show you how to fix it. Not a big deal. All right, so this is good. Now I'm going to take my pop dots, which I had to open and get a new page out. So many come in this package, and I think this package is only like $4. You cannot go wrong with it. All right, use the pop dot. Cover these up. Once again, I do not go hog wild on pop dots. To me, it is just not necessary. I just want to put a dot down in the areas that it might stick up. Stampin' Up! Has two different sizes. I like to keep them both on hand because the big one wouldn't have fit in that little spot, and a small one would have been too much to put all over the whole thing. So I'm going to go like this. All right, I think that I'm good on that. All I want to do now is put like one down here, a little teeny one down, get off my dot. Okay, down there. All right, I have watched many of video for the demonstrators. They take it and pick it, take it and pick it, and they keep all their little, look at that, it's like I'm, did I get it off? Is that sticky? No, that's not sticky. Didn't get it off. Maybe I have too many on here. If you could see my floor right now, you would laugh at me because I've done so much crafting in the last 2 days. And I do get to a point where I'm just like, throw it down. I don't care. All right, should be able to take it and pick it. All right, do I have everyone open? I do. All right, so I skipped a step. Let me come back. All right, so this is not a Stampin' Up! Thing. This is a Janice thing. They have this really great Tombow multi-purpose glue. And what I have in this bottle is the same product, but I put it in this bottle because I buy the attachment tips that I stick a needle in when I'm ready to use. I bought the wider end mouth, wider end opening so that I could do that. Stick a needle in when I'm ready to use, and now it is soft and wet and ready to go. If I was doing fine point tips, but what I like to do is put a little daub on here. And I've said before, my daughter loves this because I let her go back and clean it off. And that's her satisfaction. All right, so I'm just going to roll this in here with my tweezers. I'm going to set this. You know what? Let's make this card open this way. I hope this works. I'm winging it. Why not? All right, so I want to put that down first, and then I'm going to set this down on top. I'm hoping that I have enough to cover up whatever was wrong on that paper. I don't even remember now. All right, I want to put the leaves down on this one, down flat to the ground. And it can go anywhere because it's just an extra little embellishment, but I do want to make sure I go down far enough that this has room. Okay, very good. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to add a little pop dot to it. Those are the big ones. This is the little one. All right, put one little dude in there. So he's going to stand up so it has a little bit more dimension. All right, with the set having all the doubles of all the extra pieces. For example, it had a center flower, the bud in the flower. I seem to, it must have separated from my workspace. I don't know what happened to it, but all the other ones have them on there. Look at how that yellow makes such a difference. I will probably go back off camera and put that on here. But in the meantime, I'm okay with this. So I'm going to we're going to set this up so this card opens this way. So now I'm going to take my sympathy word. All right, this is something oh, here's the yellow piece I never cut out. Oh, well. All right, so we could get one set and design lots of easy cards and it would all work out perfectly. But when you have multiple sets to choose from, why not take advantage of all of it? I'm going to close this because I don't want anything to happen to that. All right, so the Well Said stamp set is incredible. It has all the words and all the phrases that you could think of. Congratulations, love, and happy bride, retirement, for anything. You could build a whole paragraph with the words of these sets. Little phrases: far apart but close at heart, so happy you're here. You could use the big U, make me smile. So many different things that you can do with this stamp set. But they took it one step further and created a coordinating die set that's called Well Written Framelits. And on this, now of course they're backwards, so you might not be able to see them they might not make sense this way, but I took them and I wrote what the word actually says, because if I hold it up to the light, I can see through that. Maybe you can see through it too, I don't know. But so I wrote beside it what the words were. So for these card designs, I went to my scrap drawer and pulled out scraps of the different colors that coordinate with this. For example, I put the red love with the cherry cobbler cardstock. I put a scrap of green, and on this one I used the blushing bride cardstock. I found a piece of scraps of the Highland Heather, and so that coordinated perfectly together. On this one, I found a scrap of the mint macaroon. I cut out the word sympathy. I have a friend who's lost a dog recently, and so this might come in handy for her. I have another friend who has a friend who is going through some major medical situation. And so maybe I can send this to her and she could forward it on to her friend. You make cards for all different kinds of reasons. Okay, so there we have that. I'm going to embellish it some more with some leaves. Now these leaves I stamped with the garden green ink that I used for the branch right there. Just going to stick these kind of anywhere up underneath of that. All right, and these are the leaves. I colored that in, but here, how would that look if I put that there? And they are in two different sizes, a larger leaf and a smaller leaf. That works out so well. I don't want to use that here. Let me use it right here so those two match. I'm going to take this one. You could put as many on here as you wanted or as few. I'm going to put several. Okay, look at that. All right, I love it. I'm going to let this dry so Casey can have the joy of pulling that out. I'm going to kind of clean up my craft tools and clean up my workstation. Now, I also want to say to you, I told you how I leave these on the tape. I will put them back in the thing with the tape on them, but I also do the same thing in the box. If I have cut extra pieces, I keep them in the case so that when I come back to do the next one, I have extra pieces in there. This case is so awesome because it will close and snap, and I don't have to worry about those little pieces floating away and getting lost. So I have extra pieces already in there. I will do that. I will cut these out like I showed you the Stamparatus. I will cut one of them, whatever one I think is a better image, and I will put it in the box and save it for the next time I craft. All right, so that is it. Short and sweet. I try to make them short. I try to make them sweet. They're not always short, but you know, I am who I am. I will go back and stamp them some phrases on the inside. All right, let me see if I can do this really fast. I should just stick to my word and not do this, but you know what? I can't. I've got it here. I want to show you how much difference it makes. I'm going to do it really fast. All right, it cut this out. Actually, I cut 2 of them out. The other one is still sitting there on the cutting board. And then I went and dropped it. Okay, that's all right. It dropped into my craft scrap drawer. And I'm not digging in there. So let me just put this one right here. There, well, the other ones, I filled them all in. I will put a piece of white cardstock in here with a phrase from here for whatever one I want to use. There's Mother's Day's coming up. Who knows? This one's a sympathy, so I won't put that in there. But, all right, my friends. Happy Stampin' with Janice. Once again, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Jacksonville, Florida. I would love to play with you. If you need anything, have any ideas, have any requests, reach out to me. Let me know. As always, please like, share, comment. The more comments that you give, the higher my algorithms will put me up in the listing of being shown to other stampers around the world. And that's something really awesome about Stampin' Up! Look at that. All of me loves all of you. Okay. All right. Once again, thank you for stopping by. Have a great night. And this video will be posted up on YouTube soon. Have a great night. Thank you. Bye.